I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
I just want to ask you all how you're enjoying Atlanta and what are you nerding out about recently?
Well, I have been to Atlanta several times. Once with Miss Saigon and once with Wicked, and a couple times actually with Wicked and also with Ben. And I just freaked out about seeing a bismuth in the yard.
She did.
In the outside area. That was very exciting.
There's a lot of Steven cosplayers here this year.
Yeah.
It is actually crazy.
Yeah.
How many people, like, and if it's not, you'll see someone from the front and you're like, oh, they don't have any Steven gear on, and then they turn around and there's like cheeseburger backpack. There's stuff everywhere.
I don't know if there's the same girls doing it this year, but last year, before Blue Diamond's face had even been seen, there was a Blue Diamond like on stilts, like 12 feet tall in a panel. It was amazing.
Wow.
And I saw another Blue Diamond today.
Yes, I did too.
She was in formal height.
I saw an Alexandrite today.
What?
did?
I've never seen one.
Really?
Rebecca showed me a picture of one
I
once.
know, I saw a picture, but not one.
We collect cosplay spottings like Pokemon.
Gotta
Wherever
catch
we
them all.
find them.
But we don't have to go to graveyards to get them.
That's true.
Don't you have to go to graveyards to get Pokemon? No, I don't play. I just see myself out.
They're at restaurants and parks, aren't they?
Social gatherings. Yeah, Atlanta's great. Like, I've been here once for MomoCon and once for MomoCon, and I love it. It's given a good impression for me, for sure.
It's my first time in Atlanta. I got in last night, so I'm hoping that over the course of the weekend I'll get to see all the sights. So I'm excited for that.
Got the aquarium tickets.
The aquarium.
Oh yeah,
That's amazing.
that's gonna be exciting. As far as what I've recently freaked out about, me and my handler were talking about the new Twin Peaks that came out. That's what I've been nerding out about recently.
I've been here once before, but it was for a layover for flight, and then I was like in this weird hotel. This was like a decade ago. This guy asked me to play chess. It was just like weird. It was like a stranger. I decided not to. Anyway, it's great to be back in Atlanta, like not in a weird elevator with a strange man. Yeah, so far everybody's so nice. Dee Dee and I had a chance to walk around last night. The architecture is beautiful. The food's delicious, and you guys are great. So.
Hot Atlanta.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Darius. I'm with Copeland Media. Are you guys playing video games right now? And if so, what video games are y'all playing?
I'm just saving up. I can't wait for Save the Light.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Wow. Really? That's simple.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think we all got to do voices on it, right?
Yeah.
It was really fun. And Rebecca had a personal hand in crafting the story for that, and it's very exciting.
You're gonna be excited when you play it.
Yeah, I heard it's already turning out to be a great game. So
I think they designed it here in Atlanta too, if I'm not mistaken.
I think
and
so.
seeing it,
Oh,
I
yeah.
got to
Oh,
visit their
that's-
studios last year. I was here, and
yeah.
that was really fun. For what I've been playing lately, I have not had the time I wanted to lately, so I've sort of been like just getting on Discord calls with my buddies and doing like nostalgia trips. So we would go play old games that we used to play on Skype like 5 years ago when we first became friends. So World of Warcraft, League of Legends, Civilization, just like all the staples that brought our friend group together. I've been wanting to play Mass Effect Andromeda because that's my favorite series. I have not gotten around to it yet, but hopefully.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh.
Oh, I mean, the last game that I played recently was Two Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time, if anyone knows that game. But other than that, that's about it.
Do you guys have an opportunity to improvise or give your input on how a character will react when recording scenes?
Sometimes.
As the show has gone on, I feel like there's been more of that. Usually, just because we're so, like, our storytelling format is so crunched for time in 11 minutes, there's not a lot of room for deviation on the dialogue, per se. But the wording of it to, make it flow easier out of the character's mouth, certainly. And especially at sessions where, like, for example, when we're recording for the game, when Rebecca's not there, and they're not quite as familiar with, certain rules of the characters or parts of the show Bible, then we have a lot more input there. Like, well, Steven might say this instead of this, or feel this way about this, which is always fun because it you have ownership of this thing you created, which is cool.
Oh yeah, they definitely for the game they let us riff at the end, which was really fun. I would
Yeah.
say in general, I mean, just to kind of add on to what Zach's saying, the writing on the show is so good. It's not like we have to,
Right.
stray too much from it anyway. But certainly things that make it easier, and more like in the character voice, we can improv here and there. I don't know. We get kind of zany with our reaction voices.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we play.
Efforts.
Oh,
Yeah.
those are the
Fighting
best.
efforts, yeah.
Should we do an earthquake for them?
Sure.
All right, all at once.
Yeah. That became like an inside joke every time we think of it. Like we didn't know. Like I've never been in an earthquake. I've lived in California for 10 years, and I don't know what happens, especially in a cartoon.
I mean, I've slept through most California
That's been me.
earthquakes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have not. I was there for the big one in '94.
you were?
Oh yes. I don't play video games, but I watch my kids play video games. And I try to get them off their electronics every now and again and pick up a book.
Hi, I'm Jason from Skewed and Reviewed, and I have a question about the voice acting and what's most stressful about it.
Most stressful?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I feel like it's the stress-free job. Very stress-free job. It's so fun.
I mean, working on Steven Universe in particular is not very stressful. We have so much fun when we all get together
Yeah.
and record.
That's true, but I think maybe you were going to say
Well,
something about.
I think, I don't know if it's stress per se, but certainly we are pressed for time. We only have X amount of time to do a whole episode every time we go in. So, yeah, there are points when, you'll do 1 or 2 takes, and then maybe 2 lines after, you're like, oh, I should have done that for that. And then you get in your head a little, and every now and then you'll be like, can I go back? Like, can I do it? And if they're okay with it, you get to. But I don't know, it's sort of like you want to bring your best to the mic, every time you're there. So I would say there's a little bit of stress.
I just remembered when I recorded for It's Over, I was actually doing a show at the same time. It was called Tommy, and it was a singing role, but it was really stressful on my voice. So I actually had to postpone my record time because my voice wasn't perfectly intact for that particular song. And it was my biggest song to date for the show, and so I really wanted to be at my best singing it. So that was quite stressful. And when you're stressed, your voice is like one of the first things that goes. So that could be, I guess, pretty stressful.
I've got a song postponed right now for that very reason.
Yeah.
I've been under the weather and haven't been able to, go full bore. I'm such a stickler for quality in everything that I do. I want to be able to, make it sound good because it's there forever and it, it has my name on it. So yeah, that's for me the most challenging part of the show is puberty. Just because the voice became a lot. I used to pitch my voice down before I had a lower voice like I do now, and the voice has become very different. And it's fine when I'm in good health, but if I get even the slightest bit under the weather, that's when it becomes difficult. And I really have had to develop a lot of techniques to get around that. And I become neurotic about that in a lot of the sessions. So I'm very, my ear is listening for the slightest crack. So that can be stressful sometimes.
You could just take a cue from me and always sound like you're sick. When you're actually sick, nobody knows.
I would love that.
Yeah. You can borrow my
Let's swap.
Joseph from Beach City Bugle. What are some vocal warm-ups you have, and can you please do them for us?
Whoa.
Oh, the universal one is lip trills.
Yes.
Yeah. High School Musical, Sharpay, she had part of
Oh, yeah.
part of it.
Thank you for joining me.
I didn't watch that when I was younger.
Going through the values, just get your mouth.
Red leather, yellow leather,
Red
any
leather.
leather, any weather.
I've never heard the second half.
Yeah,
of
me
that.
neither.
There you go.
Tongue twisters are great for voiceover. I mean, it
Yeah.
really just gets your mouth moving.
I do.
Topeka Bodega.
Topeka Bodega, Topeka Bodega, Topeka
Oh,
Bodega.
I don't know that.
Unique New York, unique New York, unique
Oh,
New
yes.
York.
You know you need unique New York. You know unique New York needs you.
Oh, that's actually beautiful.
Yeah. It's very poetic,
Yeah,
but also
it is.
impossible
That's
to say.
uplifting.
Yeah.
I had a session once that I, like, all these tongue twisters prepared me for because it was literally, I don't even remember what it was for. It was something very strange, like a vocal sample thing. It was all tongue twisters, like 2 hours worth of tongue twisters. And most of them, thankfully, I'd done before because I had a theater background. But it's like, they had the ultimate one, which is the sixth sick sheik's sixth sick sheep was sick. And I had to do like 5 different takes of that at all different paces. It's like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I remember a couple years back, I actually went to like a group voiceover workshop class thing, and the entire first day was just tongue twisters, which was interesting. I thought
Yeah.
that was cool. We had to do them with different emotions, like try saying Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, but you're sad.
Acting.
Yeah.
What's the this is Zamboni from Coldplay Media. What's the best advice you can give for someone trying to break into the voice acting industry?
Time out. Your name's Zamboni?
That's right.
Oh,
Zamboni.
I love that.
You like it, right?
I love that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Unique.
Just
Unique
like New York.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say it.
Yeah.
You can always count on me to be cheesy.
You know, a lot of voiceovers as an industry, I feel like it's become more competitive, especially in recent years. It's like a trickle-down effect. So many celebrities are then moving down to TV shows, moving down to commercials. So work that, you know, used to be just for the average Joe or Jane voiceover artist is now, you know, you're fighting against, not fighting, we're not fighting, but like, you know, you're competing against some real names. So it really has become a numbers game. My advice to any voiceover artist would be, don't worry about the no's. You're gonna get no a ton, or you're gonna get radio silence. You're just not gonna hear back. But just keep putting yourself out there, and you know, eventually something will click.
It's usually a no through radio silence too.
Yeah,
Very
totally,
rarely do you get
totally.
feedback or
They
a
don't call to
definite no.
reject you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just like they ghost you.
Do you guys remember the name of D. Bradley Baker's website? Because
Yes, I want to be a voiceactor.com.
It's he plays Lion on our show and every animal and creature in every show ever.
Yeah,
And
he was
he's
Olmec.
oh from Legend of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah.
And then number 4 on Codename Kids Next Door,
Ah,
which I recently discovered was a part of my childhood. But he you know he was getting asked that question so much by just people at cons and around town, so he just made the website and linked a bunch of amazing resources. And if there's anybody that would know, it's him, because he has a very unique technique and he can do things that nobody else can do with his voice. It's all about finding your own sound.
I also think being able to do a lot of different kinds of voices is very impressive. I'm sure it's always a plus. But to embrace your natural voice as well, because a lot of times now people are wanting to hire like your real regular voice.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, sorry. I've noticed since I've been doing voiceover, definitely a shift from cartoony sounding voices to regular sounding, just the way you talk. Because if you have an interesting speaking voice, people will just want to listen to that. And a lot of the time now with cartoons, it's not as popular to have a voice that no one's ever heard before. I mean, it's still, there's always going to be a market for that, but you don't have to be able to do all these wacky sounds to become successful as a voiceover actor as well. So there's really no box.
Yeah, I think that's just a general tone in overall, commercially and theatrically, just authenticity. They just want real voices, real connection, nothing like, put on, like they don't, unless that's what they're looking for. Yeah.
And that goes for if you're doing a character voice too. It has to, it adds the added challenge of being authentic through a filter of not being authentically you 100%. You sort of have to do the character voice, but also do you at the same time while not speaking as you. So yeah, authenticity is the name of the game, no matter what voice you're doing.
That's definitely a very unique factor of Steven Universe is so emotional in so many ways, and so Connie's voice is not the same as my voice, but I still have to sound like I'm experiencing different emotions or in different states while putting on a different voice. So you have to be able to sound real, but also not. So it's a little bit of a contrast there.
Go ahead, we have a couple more time. Go ahead, and Mason, and then we will see what we have after that.
Charlie with the Chainsaw Buffet podcast, and my question is in particular for Dee Dee and Michaela. The acting industry hasn't had the best track record with the roles it gives to actors of Asian descent or have Asian heritage, and I was wondering, does voice acting open up opportunities for you for roles that you might not otherwise be considered?
I think at this point, as far as voiceovers go, I'm auditioning for anything and everything. There isn't really a specific call, unless of course there is that one, where she has to have an Asian accent, which I'm horrible at Asian accents. I mean, I was born in Portsmouth, Virginia, and so I don't have, I didn't grow up with an accent. But yeah, I think recently I've just been submitted for anything and everything under the sun. So as far as voiceovers goes, yes, absolutely. If you're voicing a crystal gem, it doesn't really matter what you look like. You're not human. So,
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say voiceovers in general is fairly liberating in that, the same day I auditioned to be a rock, I could also audition to be like a cool Indian chick. I don't know. Also, do you know that Grace is a quarter Asian?
Yeah, my mom is half Japanese and a quarter black. So I'm a little bit of a racial amalgam.
It's funny, I was telling Dee Dee this story yesterday because the first day that we recorded together, we were signing in at Cartoon Network, and when I saw she was going in for Steven Universe too, I was like, oh man, there's another Asian chick. Like, I didn't know we were still auditioning. Because in my experience, there's like only one. You know what I mean? And then we get there and like everybody's a minority, and it was just rad. And I was convinced for a while that Zach was half Asian, but he's not. I was like, oh, we're all of color. This is amazing.
Sorry, I messed it up.
Yeah. But I would say, this show has done so much for so many people, but especially people of color. It's sad that it's taken like almost a whole cast to bring notice to it, but that is the one thing that I think we hear a lot. A lot of the feedback is about how Rebecca Sugar has been able to form this sort of like team of people, and it shouldn't even be about color, but it is. So.
It helps. I mean, I think it's great that Steven Universe has so much representation to kind of lots of underrepresented communities.
Yeah.
So we've had the opportunity to speak to Zach several times, and each time he's always telling these amazing stories about what happens behind the camera and all the hijinks and everything else. So I want to know from the rest of you, what are some amazing stories that you can possibly share with us of what happens when you're not voice reacting, when you guys are just hanging out because you guys have built this team dynamic over the years of being on Steven Universe?
There's just so many. We got to hang out with Thomas Sanders off the, that was cool.
Really
that
fun.
was really fun.
In a random park, he messaged us through.
It's cement. There's construction. They're like
Wait, the park's
jackhammers.
gone?
Well, they're making it into a better park. I was gonna take a pic the other day and be like, "Yo, our dreams have been crushed," but like, it's like.
But you just crushed them like momentarily.
It's gonna be revived.
But that's that's like the nicest park in that area of town. That doesn't make any sense.
You guys don't care about it.
We digress.
Yeah.
Angelinos.
Have you told the marshmallow story? From like way back in the beginning?
I totally. Well, we had to have like the chubby bunny thing.
Yeah. There was an episode. I think it was Winter Forecast.
I think so. It was really early on.
Yeah, it was really early on. But I remember someone had to go to Rite Aid.
It was Matt Burnett.
Matt when it got.
We couldn't get an authentic, like chubby bunny, like
food in our mouth sound.
Marshmallow specifically.
Yeah. So we picked up jumbo marshmallows, and we're just eating them during the record and talking with our mouths full, and it was really fun.
You guys are so method.